Hometown. Where do you live? I currently live in Ho Chi Minh City, specifically in District 2, which is quite a modern and growing area. It's a mix of residential buildings and green spaces, so it feels both urban and a bit peaceful at the same time. What town or city do you live in? I live in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City, as it's officially called. It's the biggest city in Vietnam and also the most vibrant. There's always something going on, from night markets and street food stalls to live music in small cafes. Is there anything worth living where you live? Yes, absolutely. What makes Saigon worth living in is the convenience and the fast-paced lifestyle. You can find almost everything you need nearby, from shopping malls to 24/7 stores, not to mention the amazing local cuisine. The city also has a strong job market, which is great for young people. What would you like to change about where you live? If I could change one thing, it would be the traffic congestion. The roads are often clogged, especially during rush hours, and it makes commuting pretty stressful. I'd also love to see more public transport options like metro lines become available soon. Accommodation. What kind of housing/accommodation do you live in? I live in a detached house in a quiet neighborhood in Saigon, a major city in South Vietnam. It's a two-story home. One thing I really like is that it offers ample space for my family to relax and do our own thing without getting in each other's way, and the privacy it offers, especially compared to apartment living, which can feel a bit cramped. Do you plan to live there for a long time? Yes, I do. It's super convenient since it's close to my workplace and my parents' home. Also, there are many amenities like shopping malls and cinemas within walking distance to my house, so I think we'll settle down here for a while. I'm not considering moving unless there's a major life change. Which room does your family spend most of the time in? That would be the living room. It's the most vibrant part of the house where we watch TV, chat, or sometimes just lie around doing our own thing. The space feels really open thanks to the large windows. And there's a cozy atmosphere that really brings everyone together, especially after dinner. What's the difference between where you're living now and where you lived in the past? Back when I was still a university student, I rented a small studio apartment near District 10. It was convenient, but incredibly noisy and lacked natural light. In contrast, my current house is much more spacious and tranquil. But as I was saying previously, the pace of life in Saigon is fast, which doesn't suit me at all. How long have you lived there? I've been living there for about 5 years now. We moved in right after I graduated from university and came back to the South to work. Over time, we made a few upgrades to make it more modern and livable. Work. What do you do? I work as an IELTS instructor at a language center in Ho Chi Minh City. I mostly teach teenagers and university students who are aiming to study abroad or apply for scholarships. It's a dynamic job, and I love how every day brings something new as I can meet people from all walks of life. What are your responsibilities? My main responsibility is to help students improve their English, especially in test-taking strategies. I design lesson plans, run both offline and hybrid classes, and occasionally conduct mock exams. I also provide individual feedback to help students understand their weaknesses and make progress. Why did you choose to do that type of work or that job? Well, I've always had a passion for language learning, and growing up in Saigon, I saw how crucial English was for getting ahead. I chose this field because I wanted to help young people unlock more opportunities and build their confidence when communicating. Is there some other kind of work you would rather do? To be honest, I'm pretty happy with what I do now. But if I had the chance, I might explore something more creative like curriculum design or running my own education startup. I've always liked the idea of innovating how people learn rather than just sticking to traditional methods. Do you enjoy your work? Absolutely. What I enjoy the most is seeing students gain confidence and hit their target scores. It's incredibly fulfilling. Plus, the fast-paced environment of Saigon matches my personality. It keeps me energized and always on my toes. What do you dislike about your job? One thing that can be challenging is the workload, especially during peak seasons like summer or exam months. Also, balancing administrative tasks with actual teaching can be a bit draining. Sometimes I wish I had more time to focus purely on lesson quality and student engagement. Study. Do you plan to get a job in the same field as your major? Yes, that's the goal. I'm majoring in applied linguistics, and I plan to work in the field of language education. I'm already doing some part-time teaching and really enjoy it, so I think it's a good fit for me in the long term. Do you prefer to study in the morning or in the afternoon? Definitely in the morning. That's when my brain is the most alert. I usually grab a coffee from a local cafe near my school and then head to the library. The atmosphere is calmer, and I find it easier to retain information and focus on complex materials. If you had the chance, would you change your job/major? At the moment, no. I feel like I'm on the right track. But if I had to choose something else, I might go into media studies or something more creative. That said, I think my current major gives me a strong foundation in both research and communication. What do you like about your major? What I enjoy the most is how practical it is. We're not just learning theory. We get to analyze real-life situations like classroom interaction or bilingual education. I also love how it strengthens my critical thinking and academic writing skills. What subjects are you studying? I'm in grade 12, so I'm focusing on the main subject for the university entrance exam. Right now, I'm studying math, literature, English, and a few electives like geography. English is definitely my favorite because it helps me build communication skills and opens up a lot of opportunities to study abroad in the future. What do you dislike about your school? Honestly, the biggest issue is probably the facilities. Some of the classrooms are outdated and the Wi-Fi is unreliable, which can be frustrating during online lessons. I also wish there were more extracurricular activities for students. Day off. Do you usually have days off? Yes, I do. I usually have one day off each week, normally on Sunday, which allows me to take a break from my study schedule and recharge my energy. After a long week at school, this day really helps me feel refreshed and ready for the new week. What do you usually do on your day off? On my day off, I tend to keep my plans simple and flexible. I often sleep in, watch movies, or listen to music to relieve stress from studying. Sometimes, I also help my family with small tasks at home, which makes the day feel meaningful. Do you prefer to spend your day off alone or with other people? I usually prefer to spend my day off with my family or close friends because it helps me feel more connected and relaxed. We don't do anything special. Sometimes we just talk or eat together at home. These simple moments help me forget about academic pressure. How important is it to have a day off? I think having a day off is very important, especially for students. It helps us maintain a healthy balance between study and rest, which is necessary for both physical and mental health. Without enough rest, students can easily feel tired and lose motivation. Would you like to have more days off in the future? Yes, I would like to have more days off in the future. Having more free time would allow me to focus on my personal interests instead of only studying. I also think it would help me take better care of my mental health. Keys. Do you usually carry keys with you? Yes, I always carry my keys with me because they are an essential item in my daily life. I need them to get into my house and unlock my motorbike, so forgetting them would be extremely inconvenient. Having my keys with me also gives me a sense of security when I go out. What keys do you usually have? I usually carry a bunch of keys, including my house key and my motorbike key. I keep them attached to a keychain to stay organized and avoid misplacing them. This habit helps me save time, especially when I'm in a rush. Have you ever lost your keys? Yes, I once misplaced my keys, and it was quite a stressful experience. I felt panic-stricken because I couldn't enter my house and had to wait for help. Since then, I've made it a habit to double-check my belongings before leaving home. Do you think it's important to keep keys safe? Yes, I think it's extremely important to keep keys safe because they help protect our personal space. Losing keys can cause a lot of trouble and make people feel anxious and uneasy. That's why I always keep my keys in the same place every day. Do you think keys will be replaced by technology in the future? Yes, I believe traditional keys may gradually be replaced by technology in the future. Nowadays, many buildings use digital locks, key cards, or smart access systems, which are more convenient. However, I think physical keys will still play an important role, especially in rural areas. Morning time. Do you like getting up early in the morning? Yes, I'm not really a morning person, but I try to get up early on weekdays. In Vietnam, students often have early classes starting at around 7 a.m., so waking up late isn't really an option. Getting up early helps me start the day on the right foot, especially when I have a lot of studying to do. What do you usually do in the morning? On a typical morning, the first thing I do is check my phone briefly to see messages from friends or teachers. Then I freshen up, have a light breakfast, and get ready for class. If I have extra time, I like to review my notes or listen to English podcasts, which helps me stay productive. Is morning or evening your favorite time of the day? I would say the morning is my favorite time, mainly because my mind is clearer. In the morning, there are fewer distractions, so I can focus better on studying or planning my day. Compared to the evening, I feel more energetic and motivated in the early hours. Do you think mornings are important? Yes, I think mornings are very important because they set the tone for the rest of the day. If I start my morning in a rush, I usually feel stressed for the whole day. On the other hand, a calm morning helps me stay organized and manage my time more effectively. How do mornings affect your mood? Mornings have a big impact on my mood. When I wake up early and have enough time, I feel more relaxed and in control. However, if I oversleep, I tend to feel grumpy and rushed, which affects my performance at school. Pets and animals. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have a dog at home, and he's been part of my family for years. In Vietnam, many families keep dogs mainly for companionship rather than protection. Taking care of my dog helps me feel less stressed after a long day at school. What kind of animals do you like? I'm especially fond of dogs because they are loyal and easy to bond with. Unlike some other animals, dogs can sense human emotions, which makes them great companions. That's why many students prefer dogs to keep them company when studying at home. Did you have any pets when you were a child? Yes, when I was younger, my family had a cat, and it was my first experience of raising a pet. Although it wasn't very active, it brought a lot of joy to my childhood. Looking back, having a pet taught me a sense of responsibility at an early age. Do you think pets are important? Definitely. Pets play an important role because they can provide emotional support to their owners. For students, having a pet can help reduce pressure from schoolwork. In my opinion, pets also teach people how to care for others. Are there many animals in your country? Yes, Vietnam has a wide variety of animals, especially farm animals like cows, chickens, and buffaloes. In rural areas, animals are still closely connected to daily life and work. Meanwhile, in big cities, people are more likely to keep small pets such as dogs or cats. Doing something well. Is there anything you do well? Yes, I think I'm quite good at managing my time effectively, especially during exam periods. As a student in Vietnam, I often have to balance studying, assignments, and personal time. Because of this skill, I can usually meet deadlines without feeling too stressed. How did you learn to do it well? At first, I struggled a lot, but I learned through trial and error. I started by making daily to-do lists and setting small goals for myself. Over time, this habit helped me improve gradually and stay more organized. Is it important to do things well? Yes, I believe it's important because doing something well builds confidence. When students see good results, they feel more motivated to keep improving. This mindset is especially useful in school, where effort is often reflected in academic performance. Do you think people should focus on one thing or many things? In my opinion, it's better to focus on one thing at a time so you can give it your full attention. Try to do too many things at once often leads to lower quality results. For students, concentrating on one task helps them learn more effectively. Do you feel proud when you do something well? Yes, definitely. When I finish a task successfully, I feel a strong sense of achievement. It reminds me that hard work really pays off. This feeling encourages me to push myself to do even better next time. Rules. Do you like rules? To be honest, I don't really like strict rules, but I understand why rules are necessary. At school in Vietnam, rules help students stay disciplined and focused on learning. Without rules, classrooms could become chaotic and hard to manage. Are there many rules in your school or workplace? Yes, there are quite a few rules at my school, especially about attendance, uniforms, and deadlines. For example, students are expected to arrive on time and submit assignments punctually. Although these rules can be stressful, they prepare us for real-life responsibilities. What rules do you think are important? I think rules related to punctuality and respect are the most important. They help students develop good habits and learn how to behave appropriately. These rules are useful not only at school, but also in the workplace later in life. Do you think rules should be strict? In my opinion, Rules should be clear, but not too strict. If rules are overly strict, students may feel pressured or restricted. A flexible approach allows people to learn from mistakes while still following guidelines. What happens when people break rules? When people break rules, they usually face certain consequences. At school, this might include a warning or a small penalty, depending on the situation. The main purpose is not to punish, but to encourage better behavior in the future. Text messages. Do you often send text messages? Yes, I send text messages every day, especially to stay in touch with friends and classmates. In Vietnam, apps like Zalo or Messenger are the most convenient way to communicate. Texting allows me to reply quickly without interrupting my schedule. Who do you usually text? I mostly text my close friends and family members. For school-related matters, I also message my classmates in group chats to discuss assignments. Text messages make it easy to share information instantly. Do you prefer texting or calling? I usually prefer texting because it's more flexible and less intrusive. When I text, I can think before replying instead of answering immediately. However, for urgent situations, a phone call is still more effective. What kind of messages do you usually send? Most of my messages are short and informal, such as making plans or asking about homework. I rarely send long texts unless I need to explain something clearly. This style suits students because it saves time and avoids misunderstandings. Do you think texting is important nowadays? Yes, definitely. Texting has become an essential part of daily communication. It helps people stay connected regardless of distance. For students, it's especially useful for keeping up with schoolwork and deadlines. Friends. Do you have many friends? I wouldn't say I have many friends, but I have a small circle of close friends. We've known each other since secondary school, so we share a strong bond. Having a few close friends is better than having many on a superficial level. 2. What do you usually do with your friends? We usually hang out by grabbing some street food or studying together at a cafe. As students in Vietnam, we often support each other with schoolwork, especially before exams. These simple activities help us strengthen our friendship. How important are friends to you? Friends are extremely important to me because they provide emotional support. Whenever I feel stressed, my friends are always there to listen and give advice. Thanks to them, I feel less alone when facing difficulties. What kind of friend do you like? I value friends who are honest and reliable. It's important to have someone you can count on in difficult situations. In my opinion, trust is the foundation of any long-lasting friendship. Do you prefer spending time with friends or being alone? It depends on my mood. Sometimes I enjoy spending time alone to recharge my energy. However, when I feel lonely, I prefer being with friends because they cheer me up. A good balance helps me maintain my mental well-being. Staying with old people. Do you enjoy spending time with old people? Yes, I love spending time with older people because they have a wealth of life experiences and interesting stories. Their wisdom offers great insights that can inspire and educate me. I appreciate the different perspectives they bring to the conversation. Are you happy to work with people who are older than you? Absolutely. Working with older colleagues allows me to learn from their experience and knowledge, which enhances my professional skills. Their guidance often leads to better teamwork and mutual respect. Have you ever worked with old people? Yes, I have. I worked with some older people during my internship at a community center last summer. For example, I helped an elderly woman learn how to use a smartphone to contact her children. Through this experience, I learned to be more patient and to communicate more clearly. It was a meaningful experience that I really enjoyed. What are the benefits of being friends with or working with old people? Being friends with older people provides valuable perspectives and insights that can guide us. Their wisdom fosters personal growth and enhances our skills in various tasks, such as handling work-related problems more calmly and effectively. These relationships also promote intergenerational understanding by helping younger and older people appreciate each other's values, experiences, and ways of thinking, which leads to more meaningful and respectful connections. Growing vegetables/fruits. Should schools teach students how to grow vegetables? Yes, schools should teach students to grow vegetables to promote sustainability and healthy eating. This hands-on experience fosters responsibility and an appreciation for nature. It ultimately helps build a more environmentally conscious society. Do many people grow vegetables in your city? Yes, many people in my city grow vegetables, especially in urban gardens and community plots. This trend is driven by a growing interest in organic produce and healthy eating. Gardening also fosters a sense of community and environmental awareness among residents. Is growing vegetables popular in your country? Yes, growing vegetables is quite popular in my country. Many families engage in home gardening to ensure access to fresh, organic produce. This practice not only promotes healthy eating, but also helps strengthen community ties through sharing and knowledge exchange. Are you interested in growing vegetables and fruits? Yes, I am truly keen on growing vegetables and fruits. It's a rewarding hobby that allows me to connect with nature while providing fresh, healthy food. Plus, I enjoy learning about different gardening techniques and seeing my plants thrive over time. Do you think it's easy to grow vegetables? Generally speaking, growing vegetables can be easy, but it depends on the type of plants and the gardener's experience. Basic vegetables like lettuce and radishes are quite forgiving for beginners. However, factors like weather, soil quality, and proper care can make a big difference in the success of the garden. Going out. Do you often bring cash with you? No, I don't often bring cash with me. I prefer using digital payment methods for convenience and security. However, I keep a small amount of cash on hand for situations where electronic payments aren't accepted. Do you always take your mobile phone with you when going out? Absolutely yes. I always take my phone with me when going out. It keeps me connected to family and friends and helps me navigate or find information easily. Also, having it ensures I can capture moments with photos or videos. Do you bring food or snacks with you when going out? Yes, I often bring snacks when going out, especially for longer trips. It helps me stay energized and avoid unhealthy food options. I usually pack fruits or nuts, which are convenient and nutritious. How often do you use cash? I use cash only occasionally, primarily for small purchases or at markets. Most of my transactions are done digitally for convenience. However, I find having some cash useful for situations where electronic payments aren't accepted. Housework/schedule. Did you do some house cleaning when you were young? Yes, I did some house cleaning when I was young, especially during weekends. My parents encouraged me to help with chores like dusting and tidying up. It taught me the importance of responsibility and keeping my space organized. What housework do you like or dislike doing? I enjoy cooking and trying out new recipes, as it allows me to be creative. However, I don't like doing the laundry since it feels repetitive and time-consuming. I prefer tasks that let me explore new ideas over tedious chores. Why is it that some people don't make plans? Some people don't make plans because they prefer to be spontaneous and go with the flow. They might find that flexibility allows them to seize unexpected opportunities. Additionally, some may feel overwhelmed by the pressure of adhering to a strict schedule. What are the benefits of making plans? Making plans offers several benefits, including improved organization and time management, as it allows people to arrange their schedules more efficiently. It also helps individuals set clear goals and prioritize tasks effectively, so they can focus on what is most important. Additionally, having a plan reduces stress by creating a sense of control over upcoming activities and decisions, which makes people feel more confident and prepared. Do you use paper or your cell phone to make plans? I primarily use my smartphone to make plans because it's convenient and allows for easy updates. Apps and calendars help me stay organized and remind me of important tasks. However, I occasionally jot down ideas on paper if I prefer a more hands-on approach. Do you like making plans? Yes, I enjoy making plans as it helps me feel organized and focused. Having a clear outline of my goals allows me to manage my time effectively. For example, by planning my study schedule for the week in advance. Moreover, it adds a sense of anticipation for upcoming events or activities, which makes daily life more exciting and gives me something positive to look forward to. Machine. Do you think it is important to read the instructions? Yes, I think it's very necessary to read the instructions. Following them ensures that tasks are completed correctly and efficiently, which can save time and prevent mistakes. Additionally, understanding the guidelines helps to maximize the benefits of whatever is being used or assembled. Do you read the instructions before using a machine? Yes, I always read the instructions before using any machines. It helps me understand how to operate it safely and effectively. Additionally, following the guidelines can prevent potential damage and ensure that I achieve the best results. Do you think washing machines and sweeping machines are important? Yes, I believe washing machines and sweeping machines play a crucial role in our daily lives. They significantly save time and effort in maintaining cleanliness in our homes. Moreover, these machines enhance efficiency, allowing us to focus on other tasks while ensuring our spaces remain tidy. What is your favorite machine in your home? My favorite machine at home is the coffee maker. It allows me to start my day with a fresh cup of coffee, which boosts my energy and focus. Also, I enjoy experimenting with different flavors and brewing methods, making it a fun part of my morning routine. Staying at home. What do you like to do in your free time when you're at home? In my spare time at home, I enjoy reading books as it allows me to explore different worlds and ideas. I also like to watch movies or series to unwind and relax. Sometimes, I spend time cooking, trying out new recipes, which serves as both a creative outlet and a way to enjoy delicious meals. Would you like to stay at home a lot in the future? Yes, I would like to stay at home more in the future. I appreciate the comfort and familiarity of my home environment. Also, it allows me to focus on personal projects and spend quality time with family while enjoying activities like reading and cooking. What did you often do at home as a child? As a child, I often spent time playing games with my siblings and reading books in my spare time. I also enjoyed helping my parents with cooking, which taught me valuable skills. These activities not only entertained me, but also fostered a strong sense of family bonding. What is your favorite place at home? My favorite place at home is my reading nook. It's a cozy corner filled with books and comfortable seating, perfect for getting lost in a good story. This space allows me to unwind and escape into different worlds while enjoying a moment of peace. What do you do when you stay at home? When I stay at home, I usually relax by reading books or watching movies. For example, I often watch light-hearted films after a long day. I also enjoy cooking, as I like experimenting with new recipes, such as trying different pasta dishes or desserts. These activities help me unwind and make my time at home more enjoyable. Are you a person who likes to stay at home? Yes, I'm someone who enjoys staying at home because I feel most comfortable in my personal space, where I can fully relax after a busy day. For instance, I like listening to music or reading a book in my own room without distractions. Staying at home also allows me to focus on personal projects, such as improving my skills or planning my schedule. Internet. What would you do without the internet? Without the internet, I would likely spend more time reading books and engaging in offline hobbies like drawing or cooking. I would also invest more time in socializing with family and friends in person. While it would be a challenge, I believe it could encourage more real-life connections and creativity. Do you think you spend too much time online? Yes, I think I spend a bit too much time online at times. It can be easy to get lost in social media or streaming platforms for hours a day. I recognize the importance of balancing my online activities with offline pursuits to maintain a healthy lifestyle. How does the internet influence people? The internet has a significant impact on people by shaping their communication and social interactions. For example, people can easily stay in touch with friends and family through social media and messaging apps. It also provides access to a vast amount of information, which can enhance learning and awareness. However, it can sometimes lead to distractions and a sense of isolation if not used mindfully. How often do you go online? I go online several times a day, typically for both work and leisure. I use the internet for research, staying updated with news, and connecting with friends on social media. It has become an essential part of my daily routine, balancing productivity with entertainment. When did you start using the internet? I started using the internet around the age of 15 for school projects and research. Initially, it was a way to access information quickly, but it soon evolved into a tool for connecting with friends and exploring my interests. Over the years, it has become an integral part of my life. Memory. How do you remember important things? I remember important things by using a combination of digital notes and traditional reminders. I often jot down tasks on my phone or use a planner for better organization. Additionally, I find that repeating information and associating it with visual cues helps reinforce my memory. What do you need to remember in your daily life? In my daily life, I need to remember important appointments, deadlines, and tasks for school or work. I also keep track of personal commitments, like family gatherings or social events. Staying organized helps me manage my time effectively and reduce stress. Have you ever forgotten something important? Yes, I've occasionally forgotten something crucial, such as a meeting or a friend's birthday. It was quite embarrassing, but it made me realize the need for better reminders. Since that experience, I've worked hard to stay organized and keep track of my obligations more effectively. Are you good at memorizing things? I think I'm quite skilled at memorizing information, especially when I utilize methods like repetition and visual cues. For example, repeating new vocabulary and using mind maps when studying. However, I do find it challenging to remember details that don't particularly capture my interest, such as long lists of dates or unfamiliar names. Geography. How do you like geography? I have a genuine interest in geography because it helps me understand how climate and location affect everyday life in Vietnam. For example, geographical factors explain why some areas experience frequent flooding while others are suitable for agriculture. This makes the subject feel practical rather than purely theoretical. Do you think geography is useful? Yes, I believe geography is highly practical, as it allows students to make sense of natural phenomena, such as floods and typhoons. It also helps people understand environmental issues and plan better for natural disasters. Because of this, geography has clear real-life value. Have you ever learned geography? Yes, I was exposed to geography at school, especially through lessons about Vietnam's rivers and regions. These lessons helped me understand how geography influences economic activities and local lifestyles. Do you want to be a geography teacher? No, I do not want to become a geography teacher, but I still value geographical knowledge in daily life. Understanding geography helps me follow news about climate change more easily. It also improves my general awareness of the world. Will you learn more about the geography of other countries? Yes, I plan to explore the geography of other countries to broaden my global perspective. Learning about different climates and landscapes helps me understand cultural and economic differences. I think this knowledge is useful for both study and travel. Happy things. Do you prefer to watch happy or sad movies? I prefer happy movies because they help me lift my mood and unwind after a long day of studying or working. They allow me to relax without thinking too much. I also find that positive stories leave me feeling more motivated afterwards. Do you think people are happy when buying new things? Yes, people often feel happy at first because buying new things gives them a sense of excitement and novelty. This feeling usually comes from the experience of something new. However, the happiness is often temporary and fades once the item becomes familiar. Do you feel happy when buying new things? I do feel happy when buying something new, especially when it is a practical item that improves my daily life. For example, things like a good quality backpack or noise-canceling earphones make studying more comfortable. Because I use them every day, the sense of usefulness makes the happiness last longer. When do you feel happy at work? Why? I feel happiest at work when I see clear and measurable progress in what I am doing. This shows that my effort is paying off. As a result, it gives me a strong sense of achievement and motivates me to stay focused. What do you think will make you feel happy in the future? In the future, I believe happiness will come from having a stable career and a balanced lifestyle. Financial stability would help reduce daily stress. At the same time, having enough time for myself and my family would allow me to feel long-term satisfaction. What made you happy when you were little? When I was little, I felt happy spending quality time with my family, especially during holidays. We often shared simple activities together, which created a strong feeling of warmth and security. These moments made my childhood feel safe and joyful. Is there anything that has made you feel happy lately? Yes, recently I have felt happy because I was able to complete my tasks on time. This gave me more free time to relax and recharge. Having both productivity and rest helped me maintain a positive state of mind. Staying up. What does it feel like the next morning if you stay up late? The next morning, I usually feel physically drained and find it hard to stay focused. My energy level drops significantly, especially when I have to study or work early. This often affects my productivity throughout the day. What do you do when you stay up late? When I stay up late, I often finish assignments or watch short videos as a way to unwind before going to bed. This helps me relax after a busy day. However, it sometimes makes me lose track of time. Did you stay up late when you were a kid? No. When I was a child, I rarely stayed up late because my parents were quite strict about my bedtime. They believed regular sleep was important for my health. As a result, I developed fairly good sleeping habits. Do you often stay up late? I do not stay up late very often, but it happens from time to time when I have deadlines or exams. During busy periods, I sometimes have to sacrifice sleep. However, I try to return to a normal routine as soon as possible. Chocolate. Do you think it is good to use chocolate as gifts to others? Yes, I think chocolate makes a thoughtful gift because it is affordable, easy to share, and generally well received by most people. It is suitable for many occasions. This makes it a safe and convenient choice. What's your favorite flavor of chocolate? My favorite flavor is dark chocolate because it has a rich taste and feels less sweet, which I find more enjoyable. It also tastes more intense. As a result, I do not need to eat much to feel satisfied. Why do you think chocolate is popular around the world? I think chocolate is popular worldwide because it brings a sense of comfort and pleasure. It is often linked to celebrations and special occasions. This emotional association makes it appealing to people of all ages. Did you often eat chocolate when you were a kid? Yes, when I was a child, I ate chocolate quite often, especially during holidays. At that time, it was considered a special treat rather than an everyday snack. This made it feel more enjoyable. How often do you eat chocolate? I eat chocolate from time to time, mainly when I feel stressed or need a quick energy boost. I try not to eat it too frequently. Moderation helps me enjoy it without feeling guilty. Do you like eating chocolate? Why or why not? Yes, I enjoy eating chocolate because it helps me relax and improve my mood. It is especially comforting after a long day. However, I usually control the amount I eat. Electronic devices. What kind of apps have you downloaded on your phone? I have mostly downloaded study and communication apps because they help me manage my time more effectively and stay connected with others. These apps allow me to organize my schedule and communicate quickly when needed, which saves time. As a result, my daily routine becomes more efficient and well organized. What technology do you often use, computers or cell phones? I use my cell phone more often since it is far more convenient for daily tasks like messaging and online learning. It allows me to access information anytime and anywhere. This flexibility fits well with my lifestyle. What electronic devices have you bought lately? Recently, I bought a new pair of wireless earphones to improve my learning and entertainment experience. They help me concentrate better when studying in noisy environments. I also use them regularly to relax after a long day. Is there any technology you want to buy? Yes, I would like to buy a tablet because it would allow me to study more efficiently and organize my materials better. It is lightweight and easy to carry around. I think it would be especially useful for reading and note-taking. Is technology important in your life? Yes, technology plays an essential role in my life as it supports both my studies and daily communication. Many tasks would become slower and less convenient without it. Technology has become a basic part of how I work and learn. Is there any technology you don't like? I do not really like smart home devices with overly complex settings, such as advanced control panels or apps that require many steps to operate. They can be time-consuming and frustrating to use, especially for simple daily tasks. I prefer technology that is simple and user-friendly, because complicated systems often reduce efficiency rather than improve it. What do you think of the trends in technology today compared to when you were young? Compared to the past, technology today is developing at a rapid pace. Devices are becoming smarter and more integrated into everyday life. This has made technology more convenient, but it has also increased people's dependence on it. Public transportation. What kind of public transportation do you usually take? I usually take buses because they are affordable and widely accessible in big cities like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City. Bus routes cover many residential areas, which makes commuting easier. This is especially practical for people who travel daily. When do you usually take public transportation, in your everyday life or when you're traveling? I mainly use public transportation in my everyday life, particularly during peak hours. At that time, buses help me avoid traffic congestion, which is a serious issue in large cities. This allows me to save both time and energy. Do most people prefer public transportation in your country? I think many people still prefer motorbikes because they offer flexibility. However, public transport is becoming increasingly popular in urban areas. This is mainly due to rising fuel costs and improved public transport systems. Did you take public transportation when you were a kid? Yes, when I was a child, I often took buses with my parents. At that time, it was a common way to get around, especially for families without private vehicles. These experiences made me familiar with public transport from a young age. Will there be more people taking public transportation in the future? Yes, I believe more people will use public transportation in the future due to rising environmental awareness. Governments are also investing more in public transport infrastructure. As a result, it is likely to become a more attractive option. Weather. What do you think are the effects of climate change in recent years? In recent years, climate change has led to more extreme weather conditions, such as heat waves and heavy flooding. These events are happening more frequently and unpredictably. As a result, people's daily lives and agriculture are increasingly affected. What's the weather like where you live? Where I live, the weather is usually hot and humid, which is typical of a tropical climate. Temperatures remain high for most of the year. This kind of weather can feel uncomfortable, especially during the summer months. Do you prefer cold or hot weather? I prefer cold weather because it is more comfortable and less exhausting. In cooler conditions, I can concentrate better and stay active for longer. Hot weather often makes me feel tired quickly. Do you prefer dry or wet weather? I prefer dry weather because it is more convenient for traveling and outdoor activities. Wet weather, especially heavy rain, can disrupt daily plans. Dry conditions generally make life easier and more predictable. Are you in the habit of checking the weather forecast? When, how often? Yes, I check the weather forecast almost every day to plan my schedule more effectively. This is especially important when I have outdoor activities. Knowing the weather in advance helps me prepare better. Would you like to visit other cities that have different climates from where you live? Yes, I would love to visit places with cooler climates to experience a refreshing change. A different climate would allow me to enjoy outdoor activities more comfortably. It would also be a new experience compared to where I live. Birthday. Whose birthday do you think is the most important to celebrate in Vietnam? I think parents' birthdays are the most important to celebrate in Vietnam because they reflect a strong sense of gratitude and family values. These values are deeply rooted in Vietnamese culture. Celebrating parents' birthdays is also a way to show respect and appreciation. Do you think it is important for you to celebrate your birthday? Yes, I believe celebrating my birthday is important because it gives me a sense of appreciation and reflection. It allows me to look back on the past year. At the same time, it helps me set goals for the future. What did you do on your birthday when you were young? When I was young, I usually celebrated my birthday at home with my family. The celebration was simple, but it felt meaningful and warm. Spending time together mattered more than having expensive gifts. What do you usually do on your birthday? Nowadays, I often have a small gathering with close friends to enjoy quality time together. We usually talk, eat, and relax. This kind of celebration feels more personal and enjoyable to me. Writing. What other methods do you use to record your life? Well, besides traditional writing, I often use my smartphone to capture moments. It's the most convenient tool I have with me all the time. For instance, if I have a great meal with friends or see a beautiful sunset in Da Nang, I'll instantly take a picture and post it on my social media feed. It acts like a visual diary for me, which is much quicker than writing everything down. How often do you keep diaries? To be honest, I don't keep a traditional diary on a regular basis. I used to when I was younger, but now I find it hard to maintain the habit. I only write when I have very strong feelings I need to process. So far, I have only written in my journal a few times this year, usually after a significant event like passing an important exam. Do you prefer typing or handwriting when you are writing? It depends on the purpose, but for speed and practicality, I strongly prefer typing. Typing is much faster and neater for things like schoolwork. However, handwriting feels more personal. I type all my university notes, but I will always handwrite a thank you card or a letter to my grandparents because it feels more special and thoughtful. Do you think the things you write would change? Yes, without a doubt. What and how I write has already changed a lot. As I grow older, my experiences, thoughts, and even my vocabulary evolve. Back then, I used to write only about my daily activities in my diary. Now, if I write, I focus more on my goals, reflections, and bigger ideas about life, which shows a more mature perspective. What do you like to write? Why? I most enjoy writing short, personal reflections. I find it to be a very therapeutic process that helps me organize my thoughts. For example, after a long day, I might write a few paragraphs about what I learned or how I felt. It helps me unwind and makes things clearer in my own mind. Do you write a lot? I wouldn't say a massive amount for pleasure, but I do write quite frequently out of necessity. As a student, I am constantly writing essays, reports, and emails. Outside of that, the writing I do is more occasional, like the reflections I mentioned or messages to friends and family. Names. Does your name have any special meaning? Yes. Most Vietnamese names have a deep meaning chosen by our parents, and mine is no exception. My name is Min, which means bright or intelligent. They told me they chose it because they wish for me to have a bright mind and a successful future. How would you choose names for your next generation? I would follow a similar, meaningful tradition. I believe a name should have a positive meaning and a pleasant sound. I would also consult with my parents for their wisdom and ensure the name is easy to pronounce, so it doesn't cause the child any inconvenience later in life. Are there any differences between how Vietnamese name their children now and in the past? Yes, there are some interesting shifts. In the past, names were often more formal and heavily focused on Confucian virtues or poetic words. These days, while meaning is still crucial, names can be shorter, more modern sounding, and sometimes even influenced by international culture, though the beautiful tradition of a meaningful name remains strong. Does anyone in your family have the same name as you? No one has my exact first name, but it's common to share middle names with relatives. In Vietnam, many families use a generation name that all children in the same lineage share. For example, all my male cousins on my father's side share the same middle name. Are there any names that are more popular than others in Vietnam? Definitely. Names that signify positive qualities like in peace, duc, virtue, or min, bright, are perennially popular. You'll also find trends where names from popular historical figures or contemporary celebrities become fashionable for a certain period. Snacks. What snacks do you like to eat? I'm quite fond of traditional Vietnamese street food snacks. They're tasty, easy to find, and not too expensive. My absolute favorite is probably Bon Trang Tron or mixed rice paper. It's a perfect, addictive mix of sweet, sour, spicy, and crunchy, usually sold by vendors near schools and universities. Did you often eat snacks when you were young? Oh, yes, all the time. When I was a child, my after-school ritual often involved using my pocket money to buy snacks with my friends. We get things like Kim Zoy, sticky rice ice cream, or Kak Loi Bon, various sweet cakes, from the local vendors. Those were very happy memories. When do you usually eat snacks now? Nowadays, I usually eat snacks in the mid-afternoon, around 3 or 4 p.m. That's when I often feel a bit of an energy slump while studying or working. Having a small snack then helps me focus until dinner time. Do you think it is healthy for you to eat snacks? It can be, if you choose wisely and eat in moderation. The key is to opt for nutritious options. For example, fresh fruit or yogurt is a healthy choice. However, my guilty pleasure, Bon Trang Tron, is probably not the healthiest due to the seasoning and salt, so I try to enjoy it only occasionally as a treat. Puzzles. Do you think it is good for old people to do puzzles? Absolutely. I think it's highly beneficial. Engaging in puzzles is a fantastic way for seniors to keep their minds active and sharp. It can improve memory, concentration, and even delay cognitive decline. It's a fun and low-pressure form of mental exercise. Do you like doing word puzzles or number puzzles? Which is more difficult for you? I prefer word puzzles like crosswords. I find them more entertaining and a great way to learn new vocabulary. Number puzzles like Sudoku are actually more difficult for me. I've never been very strong with logical sequences of numbers, so I find them quite challenging. When do you do puzzles during your trip or when you feel bored? I mostly do puzzles when I feel bored or when I need a short mental break. For example, if I've been studying for 2 hours, I might do a quick crossword on my phone for 10 minutes to reset my brain. I don't usually do them on trips, as I prefer to look out the window and enjoy the scenery. Did you do puzzles in your childhood? Yes, I did. I remember my grandmother used to buy me puzzle books with simple word searches and connect the dots pictures. It was a quiet activity she encouraged to help me develop patience and focus, and I remember feeling a great sense of accomplishment when I finished one. Spending time by yourself. Do you usually spend time by yourself? Yes, I do. As much as I enjoy being with friends and family, I value my alone time. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I need those quiet periods to recharge my energy and reflect on things. How do you usually spend your time by yourself? I usually spend it on quiet, low-key activities. I might listen to music or a podcast, read a book, or just go for a solitary walk around my neighborhood. Sometimes I simply do nothing at all and just enjoy the peace and quiet, which is quite rare in a bustling city like Saigon. Do you like spending time by yourself? I really do. I find it essential for my mental well-being. It allows me to unwind, think clearly without distraction, and just be with my own thoughts. It's my way of de-stressing after a busy week. What did you do last time you were by yourself? Just last Sunday, I spent a whole afternoon by myself. I made a cup of tea, put on some soft jazz music, and finally finished a novel I've been trying to read for months. It was incredibly relaxing and refreshing. Sharing. Do you prefer to share news with your friends or your parents? It depends entirely on the type of news. For everyday, fun updates or problems related to my studies, I prefer sharing with my friends because they are my peers and understand my immediate context. For bigger, more significant life news, or when I need deep advice, I always turn to my parents first. Who is the first person you would like to share good news with? Without hesitation, my mother. She has always been my biggest supporter, so her happiness for me multiplies my own joy. Telling her good news, like a high exam score, feels like a celebration for both of us. What kind of things are not suitable for sharing? I believe very private family matters, other people's secrets told to me in confidence, and anything that might unnecessarily worry or hurt someone are not suitable for sharing. It's important to be discreet and respectful of privacy. What kind of things do you like to share with others? I like sharing experiences, like recommendations for a good book or a new cafe I discovered. I also enjoy sharing knowledge, such as a useful study tip I learned. It feels good to contribute something positive to a conversation or to help a friend. Did your parents teach you to share when you were a child? Yes, they did, and it was a fundamental lesson. From a very young age, whether it was sharing toys with my cousins or sweets with my brother, they always encouraged me to be generous. They taught me that sharing is a basic part of being kind and building good relationships. Plants. Do Vietnamese people send plants as gifts? Yes, it's a very common and thoughtful practice, especially for occasions like opening a new business, moving into a new house, or wishing someone good health. Certain plants are believed to bring luck, prosperity, and fresh air. Do you know anything about growing a plant? I know the basics, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. I understand that plants need the right balance of sunlight, water, and good soil. I've learned that overwatering can be just as harmful as not watering them enough. What plant did you grow when you were young? In primary school, we had a common science project where we grew Dao, Zan, mung beans on damp cotton wool. It was my first experience growing anything, and I was so excited to see the little sprouts come up every day. It felt like a small miracle. Do you keep plants at home? We do, mostly for decoration and for a touch of nature indoors. My mother is in charge of a small collection of potted plants on our balcony, like snake plants and a small money tree, which are both easy to care for and said to bring good fortune. Singing. Do you think singing can bring happiness to people? Absolutely. I think it's a powerful source of joy. Singing releases endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. Whether you're singing alone in the shower or with a group of friends at a karaoke session, it's a fantastic way to express emotions and let go of stress. Who do you want to sing for? If I could sing well, I would love to sing for my family, especially during family gatherings. In Vietnam, family karaoke is a popular activity during holidays, and it creates such warm, joyful memories. Singing for them would be a way to contribute to that happiness. Have you ever learned how to sing? I've never had formal training, but I did learn the basics in music class at school. We were taught about scales, breathing, and how to follow melody. My real training, however, has just been through years of enthusiastic, if not always tuneful, karaoke sessions with friends. Do you like singing? Why? I love it, but purely as a fun hobby, not a serious skill. The reason is simple. It makes me feel happy and free. I don't worry about how good I sound. It's just about enjoying the music and the moment. It's one of my favorite ways to unwind and have fun socially.